Hello.
Hello, Razor.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Where where are you at this morning? Or is it afternoon for you?
It is 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah.
Oh, wow. It's 9 a.m. for me. I'm here in Arizona and
Yeah.
have
I'm the south of England in my house.
I speaking of England, I'm gonna mention real quick, I've seen you guys a few times, and the very first time, a few years ago, that I saw you, I was getting this Def Leppard vibe from you guys, and I couldn't pinpoint why. I couldn't figure, I'm like, why am I getting this thing? And it's not musically, had nothing to do with the music. And then I think it was a few days later, I was like, you guys are from Sheffield, England, the same place Def Leppard's from. I was like, that's a weird coincidence. So I don't know if it was Ollie's accent or the five-piece thing or the great show. I don't know what it was. I still can't. But you guys ever meet those guys or any?
No, no, but it must be in the water, or so it's like a Sheffield vibe, maybe.
Yeah, it's got to be. It was something like that. But it was just an interesting thing. I still don't know why I got that vibe. But how are you today, man?
Very
What's
good,
going on?
thank you. Yeah, just chilling. Yeah, we've just
Yeah.
gone into lockdown part two, so I'm
Yeah,
just
I heard about that.
getting
We're
accustomed
probably not
to
far behind.
getting reaccustomed to being sat in my house all day.
Well, let's talk about new music because you guys just released this EP, and the first question I have before we get into that is why an EP and not an album? Because it's got enough tracks on it for an album.
Well, we intended it to be a bit shorter. It is an album, really, but I think we just set ourselves the goal of doing four shorter records, whether you want to call them EPs or whatever. We just didn't want to be constrained by them having to be 10, 12 tracks long. So we kind of thought, we'll write, and if it ends up being five or six songs and they're all really good and we're happy with them, then that's what we release. Um, so yeah, that was kind of the goal, and it ended up being we got more material than that. So
The one of the tracks you had released last year was on a gang soundtrack, if I
yeah,
remember, and then the rest of these songs are all new, written during this pandemic. Am I correct?
yeah, that's right. Yeah, Ludens is the only one that was written last year. Ironically, that's the one that's got loads of lyrics about not shaking hands and all this kind of COVID style, just by
Yeah.
chance more than anything.
The challenges of writing during this pandemic have pretty much hit everybody. I mean, I'm doing my radio show from home. I had to adjust to do my work here. How about you guys? How did you adjust to that whole process?
Yeah, I mean, it was writing from home. Ollie recorded his own vocals in his. He's got a vocal booth. Luckily, we set up a vocal booth a few years ago, which we've never used. We built it around the time we did That's the Spirit, sort of 2015, in his house, and we never used it. It was just a waste of money. And like, luckily, this last 6 months, it's just turned out to be the perfect thing because we've recorded the whole record. He's done it himself. So he sends the vocals across. We had like a shared kind of Dropbox. We just had to figure it out, what software we could use to kind of transmit the audio. And it's a weird process, but it's worked for us, and we've managed to make it work. So yeah, just had to
Did,
be a bit clever with it.
did you produce this album? I know you do some producing.
Yeah, me and Ollie produced all the band's records since 2013. Yeah.
Yeah, so when you're producing, is it different when you have to do it from another source when you're not together? I mean, is it, I
No,
mean,
because we
what
because we
sounds
write because we just I mean, producing, writing, it's the same. We do everything is the long and short of it. So we don't have anyone else really. So we had someone doing some additional synth stuff for us and some additional production on this record, but the crossover between writing and producing, if you're not working with someone else, I mean, if I was working with another band and I was producing, then it would be a different situation. But yeah, it basically just means that we're doing everything ourselves without someone to tell us what to do. So you could
gotcha.
just as easily say there's no producer, I guess, but it's, yeah, self-produced really.
So is it safe to say that had the pandemic not struck, this album EP would not have come out?
I think it would probably have been quite different. Yeah, I think I mean, we probably would have released something by now, but the music we were writing in January before COVID hit had a very different feel.
Were you
Uh,
guys out on the road when it hit, or what were you guys doing?
we did tour. We toured in January in Moscow. We did some Russian dates, and then we came back. So we weren't. We were actually just settling down to start writing anyway. Um, yeah, when it kicked in. So it wasn't
I
so.
uh I have not seen any shows in 2020, but one of the last shows that I saw before it all shut down was you guys. I saw you guys in Las Vegas in October a year ago at the Las Rages Festival,
Yeah, I
and
remember that one.
yeah, it was a great show.
It was,
And I know you
it was
guys
fun.
have some shows scheduled for, I believe it's next summer, right? Some festival type shows. Um, yeah, do you guys see big changes? Have you discussed what kind of things are going to happen in this post-pandemic age?
I mean, we're just waiting to see at the moment. I don't think that there's going to be any kind of social distancing type shows for us. To be honest with you, I think it's going to be they either happen or they're delayed. I think is the vibe because I just don't see any other way that we could. Feasible. Our show is so dependent on people
Sure.
being able to contact each other.
Or what about as far as meet and greet type stuff? Have you guys changed your model for that or discussed
We don't
that?
do
You don't
them.
at all.
No, we never
No.
do. Well, I mean, we do charity ones only.
Hmm.
So and they don't come by that often, and they don't tend to be that many people. It's usually just individuals. So yeah, I would still be happy to do that, but we don't do paid meet and greets or VIP stuff or anything like that. We never have.
So you're saying if I go to a Bring Me the Horizon show, I can't meet you?
You can meet us for free. Yeah, you can meet us. No one else. No, I mean, we would do it, but I mean, a lot of the time we're often writing, so we tend to just spend our time when we're not on stage either writing or playing FIFA and hanging out with each other.
Gotcha.
I know most bands do like a tiered kind of paid VIP type experience, but it's just never appealed to us. And to be honest, those things where you meet loads of people in a real short
Sure.
period of time, they tend to be, in my opinion, like not so good for either party, really.
Yeah, I get you. I've been through them, so I know it's almost like a cattle call. They just kind of rush you through and in and out.
Yeah, I think
You
we'd
know.
rather just meet less people, but it be authentic.
Yeah,
When you
quality.
yeah, we don't hide ourselves away, but at the same time, we're not trying to make it's not a business model for us meeting people.
Let's talk about some of the songs. We've been playing Parasite Eve for a bit, and I just started spinning Teardrops just this past weekend. The album, by the way, came out on Friday, this past Friday, and I think my favorite song is Teardrops. What? Tell me about that song.
Yeah, that's one of the ones that came when we were fully kind of in lockdown, separate, and yeah, it's probably the most personal type of song. A lot of them are a bit more political and a bit more about what's going on in the world, but that one's a little bit more about dealing with the way this whole thing makes you feel, I guess. So yeah, I guess it's almost a little bit about depression and anxiety and dealing with those kind of negative feelings, which is something I think we've always sort of done well as a band. So it feels like a very kind of classic Bring Me the Horizon song in that sense. It's
Yeah.
I think our fans immediately would connect to, and we could feel that as we were writing it that this is probably the strongest track off the record just because it's so us kind of thing.
Yeah, it's such a great tune. One of the things before people started putting music out, kind of at the beginning of this whole thing, uh, I was talking to some people and I said, well, when the music comes out, I'm wondering how much of it is going to be, pandemic related and relate to everything that we're going through. And I think maybe it's possible that this is the one that's the strongest relating to that out of because a lot of people have been putting out cover songs, which is, to be honest, too many cover songs going on right now. But I think you guys have put out quite a few tracks on this that relate to what's going on. Do you think that it was an overwhelming sense to get this stuff out for you guys, or it just was like, this is just really natural for us to just write this?
I mean, it just kind of happened naturally for us. We don't tend to write like that based on what's going on in real time. But as we were starting this record, it very much felt like it was happening. Like the virus was starting to become a thing in the news, and I was here, I was hearing things from friends while we were up in Sheffield writing of like, this is getting bad in Italy and you need to be careful and blah, blah, blah. So there was this rising kind of stressful feeling. And I remember it quite well, that feeling in February. So it was so unavoidable that it actually, it kind of, I think we had to write about it for it to feel genuine, because anything else just felt weird. We were in lockdown, so
Yeah.
I mean, what else can you even write about? So yeah, for us, it was the first time we've done a record that feels like it's really about external things. But it's been perfect for us in a way. I know it sounds terrible, but it's been such an inspiring. There's so much angst to suck off of, like leech.
The album is called Posthuman Survival Horror. Obviously, that's got to be related to everything that's going on. And there's a few guest tracks on here. I know you did something with Amy Lee of Evanescence and also Babymetal. How did that collaboration happen? They're fantastic, by the way. Don't discount their musicianship. They're amazing.
Yeah, we love Babymetal. We've been friends with them for quite a few years, and they're just a cool girls and a really nice team of people. So yeah, we've always got on really well with them, and we love them. They're quite different to a lot of other bands. When you play these festivals with a bunch of kind of guy rock bands, and then you've got like Babymetal, and I think we're a bit different sometimes. We're not necessarily a very bro. We have kind of ravey sections and pop stuff and all kinds of different things in our music, and we've always felt a little bit not that we don't quite fit in with the scene, I guess. So we have that in common with Babymetal, and we also both incorporate quite a lot of pop music into our music. So yeah, musically we gel well with them, and they're just lovely people. So yeah, they took us on tour last year in Japan. That was an amazing experience, and it just was an obvious thing for us to collaborate with them.
I know we got to wrap things up here, but what's in the immediate future for Bring Me the Horizon?
Gonna kick it for a few weeks, I think, and then start working on the next one, trying to figure out where we're gonna go from here. So at the moment, we're just enjoying the fruits of our labor for a few weeks.
Well, I wish you success. So again, the album's out, Posthuman Survival Horror. Jordan Fish, Bring Me the Horizon. Love you guys. Thanks for spending some time with me today.
Thanks very much, and thank you to your listeners for listening. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Take care, man.
Good, dude.